Hey, welcome back to this best of edition on the NCW Life Magazine for the year of 2017. I'm your host, Jay Seebeck. And so moving on with more highlights, the next clip is from our beekeepers episode I did in the spring, back when all of the NCW beekeepers got together. They started getting their bees from California and then started making their new hives. So this next clip is with Steve Foley, who is the president of the North Central Washington Beekeepers Association.
A number of years ago, probably 5-6 years ago, a group of us, a very small group of us, beekeepers in the area, got together with one of the experienced beekeepers here, and we met a few times and talked about bee issues and all kind of tried to get off the ground and keep our bees healthy and happy. After doing that for a little while, things kind of dwindled a little bit, and a number of us had got a bunch of things together for the fair. Had a great event at the Chelan County Fair. And as we were putting that together, we kind of regrouped a few things and had talked to a bunch of great people at the fair that were interested in keeping bees. Realized we had a future to beekeeping in the area here, especially with backyard beekeepers. So we kind of kicked the club off about 3.5 years ago and went from about 12 members that were sitting around at the fair to over 100 here now. So a lot of growth in the club and a lot of backyard beekeepers really taking advantage of the hobby and getting together and doing a lot of great things together.
One of the best parts about that episode is I got a free jar of honey out of it. So moving on, one of my favorite events that I went and covered, I went to 3 of them over the course of the year, but the naturalization ceremonies put together by Hand in Hand Immigration Services. So this one was from the most recent one here in December down at the New America Pack. Go ahead and check this one out.
I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Congratulations, you are now citizens of the United States.
You know, I've watched that clip a few times now, and it still gives me a little chills when I watch it. Very cool, very special moment there. So for this next clip, you know, prepare to be a little bit disturbed. This gets a little crazy. Back in the summer at the Wenatchee Super Oval, there was a group that comes through every year, and they do a monster truck rally. Well, in addition to the monster trucks, they brought this guy, they called him the Kamikaze Kid. Check it out.
All right, Levi, jumping the Kamikaze Kid. Get ready to go. Here he is. Blowing fire. Remember, the louder you get, the bigger the flames. He's going to make his way down here. Come on, where is the noise? Check it out.
That guy was a little wild. So 2017, again, another big fire year. I went out to the Jolly Mountain Fire where I did a media tour with our local fire PIO, Rick Isaacson, and he showed me the behind the scenes of what it's like at a wildfire camp and what it means to, be working out on the fire line. So check this one out.
You're standing right in the smoke, and it's fairly low intensity, and when you get a more intense fire like we have in Wenatchee, and you're burning that goddamn sagebrush that burns so hot and you get 20-foot lengths, those guys are in that smoke, and just now you can see how irritating that is, but they've got to endure that. So you'll see them with bandanas very commonly, dry bandanas, very important. And I wear goggles sometimes, protect my eyes, because you can't see. You're in there with a shovel or a hose, and you're trying to get that wet line down and all that, and you can't see if you don't put the goggles on, and you can't breathe if you don't put the bandana on. So
yeah, and you're out here for more than just like a couple of hours, a few minutes. It's
not just passing by.
14
right.
Hours.
You're standing here, getting the water, moving around, digging some line. Yeah, you're in it, and you ain't getting out of it for a while until you're done with it. It's not easy to get used to.
That clip right there was a very fun and very interesting kind of day spending it out there in the fire in Jolly Mountain. So before we end this segment, we're going to head up to Leavenworth. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Barn Beach Reserve out there by the Wenatchee River. And so I went up there and did a tour, which they're doing tours now, with guide Brooke Hinton, and we were doing some bird watching, looking at all the different plants and animals and that kind of thing. And so then we're at this new bird watching spots that they have out there, and all of a sudden this osprey came down and just grabbed a trout, I think it was, out of the river, and you got to check out this next clip.
There he goes.
I mean, that's pretty cool. You can see how his claws are actually just hooked into that fish and drawing some blood. So we'll be right back on the NCW Life magazine. Again, this is the 2017 Best of edition, and I'm Jay Seebeck, so we'll be right back.